Well, I'm excited today to share with you the CRKT TSR knife. Now, this is designed in kind of the thought process of a lightweight, compact survival knife. And I'm always drawn to lightweight, compact knives like this, companion knives, particularly that have a lot of things going for them in maybe their design or in their setup. And at a budget price is fantastic, particularly for those of you who maybe you already have a big chopper, or you have an axe, and you're looking for maybe a get-home bag knife, you're getting for a bug-out bag knife, or maybe just, you're a lightweight hiker and you just want, something to put on your belt that that could get some work done and help you survive the night if you got stuck out somewhere. I'm always drawn to that, and that's what this knife has to offer, and that's kind of the thought process with it. It has a lot of extra features, including like a fishing kit inside the handle. It's got, like a signaling mirror, sharpening stone, ferrocerium rod, lots of stuff going on, and right around the $50 price point. So we're going to talk about all that today. We're going to talk about the things I like, some of the things I do not, and we're going to see whether or not this is a nice, lightweight, compact system. Now we're going to go ahead and look here at the blade. We're looking at a 4.375 inch overall from handle to tip. Cutting edge is about 4 inches. And we're looking at a thickness of 0.11. That's a nice thickness there. For a knife of this size, you don't need it to be overbuilt, 3/16 or 1/4 inch. There's no reason for that. So I like the thinness a lot. And then we do have that satin finish, and then we do have the hollow grind, and that's kind of the main thing for me. It's made out of HCR13 MOV, for around $50. That's pretty decent, for the price point for everything else that they're throwing in there. If this was a saber grind, I would have been a lot more excited. The hollow grind slices really well, and the finer stuff, it's okay. It's just the hollow grinds tend to be kind of flimsy, and for a survival knife, it's not my grind of choice. So that's the only thing that I really have an issue with. The HCR, it's a decent steel. It'll hold up okay. You're going to be able to tune it up really well out in the field. So, resharpening out in the field is a huge plus. And it's, semi-rust resistant. It's not a rust-resistant steel by any means, but it'll be better than like 1095 or, something like that. So on that sense, it's nice. You got a little bit of jimping right here, and then you do have a mild swedge all the way down. So, it's a decent performer for a hollow grind, lightweight blade. It would have performed better overall with that saber grind. But, it held a decent edge, batoning, light hacking, and lots of carving and cutting. It did a decent job for its price point. All right, so we got a lot going on here with this handle, so I'm excited to walk you through it. We got handle scales, full tang, which is always really good to see on this style of knife. It's a GFN, glass reinforced nylon handle. Got mild traction on there, which is good. It's not overly grippy and starts to thrash your hand, but it's not slick either, so that's really done well. Very contoured, really like that aspect. Zero hot spots. I wear large size gloves, as you guys know. We got this little bit of a guard here. We got that jimping, as I said before, and then just feels really good, really ergonomic. Every grip that you would hold it in, very, very comfortable. We got that lanyard hole with the lanyard that comes standard on it out the back there. And then as well as, I just want to point this out, this upper lashing point, you can see, I don't know if that was like a milling error. It's really, really close to the outer part right here. I don't think it would break with the work that I would put a knife of this size through, but that was really close. I don't know if that's standard or if that was just kind of like the machine was punched, too close or something. That makes me a little uncomfortable on how narrow that piece of metal is in that eye hole right there. That hole is for lashing to like a spear or something like that if you wanted to, in conjunction with the back lanyard. The overall length is 4.875 inches, so nice for all those of you with big hands. And then the thickness is 0.73 on the overall thickness of the handle. But very good, very ergonomic, no issues at all, no hot spots. You could hold this for a very long time and use it without it causing any cramping or pain. And the weight is 4.3 ounces. So, I mean, that's as heavy as most, mid-sized pocket knives. So to get about a 4-inch cutting edge fixed blade is really nice to see on that weight class. Now, the other nice thing is they have included a little survival kit in here. Now, the screw up here is on one side only, and it's raised ever so slightly with a really nice big gap there. Now, I have to use a multi-tool to open this up, and we didn't have any loosening with all the batoning and other issues and things that we did, which is good to see. But you can spin this open, comes out, slides open, and then already included is this little survival kit in a plastic bag. You're going to get some dental floss, 2 pins, sewing pins and a couple fish hooks, like 2 fish hooks in there. So you could dual use it. You know, you could use it for like fishing line, and catch a small fish if you want to, or for sewing something up, regardless if it was a wound or just, you know, like a damaged gear item or clothing item or something like that. That's okay. You know, I would have liked to maybe see like tinder in here or something like that. I would replace this with like fire starting tinder in here. There is a pretty, you know, generous little spot in there. You can see the skeletonized handle right there. The holes right up here are just where the screws go and that type of thing, and balance points. So I think that's a cool little feature. The one downside is right now I have to use a multi-tool. It would have been nice on the lanyard to have a pretty good size washer included. The washer could act as a flathead and then take off the screw without you having to have some kind of a multi-tool laying around. I guess you could maybe use like the try and, you know, jimmy rig something with the sheath, you know, and use the sheath to unscrew it or something. But that would just be my, you know, critique, is to have a washer here on the lanyard attached so that you could easily unscrew and then rescrew this, so you could open it up and get to what you need to inside. So here we are with the sheath. Now, this is, for the price, not a bad sheath. With some fine tuning, this could have been a fantastic sheath. Now, what we have is a molded plastic. It's going to come with this paracord, so you get a lot of lashing points and options and extra paracord to come with, which is really nice. Got a total drop leg feature, you know, so it's going to be flush with your hip. It's not going to be riding up into your body and, you know, digging into your ribs or something. It has like a Blade Tech lock. It's a knockoff, but very close to it. You know, I can just tell with the polymer is, you know, a little bit lower quality, but a really nice, you just push the button, door opens up, and then you can attach it to your belt, lock it closed, and then the button will not depress. So that's a very cool feature. Now, there's lots of little, you know, extras on the sheath. Right here we have a mirror that does have an eye hole through it, so you can see through the sheath and, you know, message somebody. I think that's a pretty cool feature to have there. I like that actually a lot. That's just an added bonus right there, and particularly with the eye relief, so you can see through there. Then on one side there's a ferrocerium rod, and then on the other is a ceramic rod for sharpening. The issue that I have with either of these is that they are so flush with the body of the sheath that they're really almost impossible to use. The ceramic is really tough to get on without rubbing on the Kydex, so it's almost doing, or the molded plastic, it's almost doing a counterintuitive thing. It's sharpening, but at the same time you're dulling the blade by rubbing it on the sheath. So you'd have to like carve away the sheath a little bit more. They should have just raised it up like another 2 millimeters would have been fine, and that would have been perfect. Same with the ferrocerium rod. It's really tricky to try and get sparks thrown on it. You can do it, but it's really tough and almost impossible. Again, if it was just a little bit higher and not as flush with the body of the sheath, would have worked perfectly. And then you have your sheath retention here. Clicks in decently. You know, if you fell, it wouldn't fall right out, but there's not a lot of retention. I barely have to push, and this thing's gonna come out. Now, you could heat around here and try and make it a little bit tighter. I would have liked to just see a little bit more retention on there, but for the price point and what you're getting, I think it's a decent overall sheath. The mirror really works well, but the ferrocerium rod and the ceramic rod are kind of throwaways because they're so flush with the body of the sheath. Now let's go ahead and hit price on the TSR and some competitive options that you're going to find in that same price range. This thing's going to go for about 45 to 50 bucks from what I've seen online. We will have links in the description below over to Amazon, not only to this knife, but all the other knives that you see here. So at the end of this video, depending on which one you feel best fits your needs, regardless if it's the TSR or not, that's a great way to help support the channel, helps me get out there, make videos, do what we do here. So for that price point, I wanted to run in a bunch of other knives so we can get some feel for what is being produced out there at around that price range. And I do want to thank CRKT for their willingness to send the TSR over to us to test out, review, and give you guys a full comprehensive video so you guys can make that wise choice. So the main reason I'm running in all these guys is that for the most part, they're all going to be about the same price, around the $50 price point. The Mora, depending on what version you get, the cheaper version will be about $35, the more expensive about $45. So it is competitive in price, but also competitive in size as we go through here. And so that's what I really wanted to do with you, is that all these other knives here, the SOG Seal Pup Elite, the Gerber Strong Arm, the Schrade SCH F42D, and the Mora Cans Bowl, they all have very focused points of view of what they're designed to do. The SOG Seal Pup Elite, the Gerber Strong Arm, definitely tactical knives, soldier knives with a survival feel to them. So they could definitely be forced into survival roles, bushcrafting roles, but they're really at home on an LBE, and doing a lot harder, heavier duty slashing, stabbing, prying, cutting, that type of thing. Not a ton of woodscraft. They can do good woodscraft, but that wasn't their initial intent. The Schrade is definitely more of like a compact survival knife. It's going to be super thick, beefy, overbuilt, 1095 high carbon steel. It's kind of the beast of the crowd here, not only in its weight, but in its performance. And that would be more of like just the compact survival knife. And then we got the Mora as the really, focused bushcraft knife, super lightweight, super thin, feather stick making, notching, carving. It's going to do it all day long. And so running it up against the CRKT here, the CRKT is kind of a jack of all of these. It can be forced into any of those roles, but I don't know if it's really honed in for any particular role. It has a hollow grind, which would kind of be more for like a combat knife, like the SOG Seal Pup Elite has a hollow grind. It's got some great ergonomics, like the cans bowl, so for like long cutting tasks and woodscraft, but then it's also got some modularity and some survival type of things that would kind of be like the Gerber or the Schrade. So it's kind of like this blend of all of these knives put together. And for the price point, it's definitely worth looking at in this size range, but you need to decide, do you want something a little bit more specific, a little more tactical? Do you need something a little more survival, a little more bushcraft, or do you want something that can kind of do it all? Then that may be where the CRKT really fits into this family of about $50 compact tactical / bushcraft survival knives. That's that kind of compact companion blade size. So in conclusion, got to give you my final thoughts on the knife. I think in concept, this is a great idea. I think that some of the materials are there, the ergonomics are good, the HCR13 is decent. Would have liked to see AUS 8 or something maybe a little bit better than that, but for the price point, I totally get it. The hollow grind is a great slicer. It's, and it held up decently for the batoning and everything. I would have preferred like a saber grind over that, but the profile is there, the ergonomics are there, and it's a decent knife for the price. The overall idea of it being like your go-to survival knife, now I don't have to have a sharpener, I don't have to have a fire starter, and I have a mirror, and I could throw this on my bag and maybe get those out, or have this as like a go-to system. It's just not there for me. So I'm really kind of torn on that. The knife itself is a decent performer. The system and the idea of it being that survival knife, I'm not fully bought into. So you have to decide, is this something that you want to try out and test out, or is this something that maybe is just a backup knife that you want to throw in your kit, but you have other knives that you regularly use. Lots of different options there for you to decide. But for me, this wouldn't be like my one-stop shop that I'm going to throw in my bug out bag. That's just me being real and being honest with you guys. So I want to thank you for coming over here today. Here are my thoughts. I hope it helps you out decide if this is the right knife for you and what it has to offer, or if there are other knives out there that would be better choices. That's what we do here, is give you guys full, comprehensive, honest videos for you to make a wise purchasing decision. As always, thank you so much. Please check us out on all the relevant social media. That's a great way to see what's up and coming. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Hit that little bell icon that gives you the notifications, because we're posting up like 2-3 videos a week, every week, giving you guys full, honest, comprehensive videos. And always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.